So if you've been watching either the series or just Schlocktober for a while, you know the last 2 years we've either wrapped up or set up for the wrap-up with an also-rans trailer montage for stuff that either didn't make this year or would have made it but didn't because reasons, which generally happens on times when there's more than 4 show dates in an October, and this is one of those years. And also when I decided somewhat closer to last minute than I would have otherwise planned to do a Vincent Price-centric cycle for this year, and also to put the focus more specifically onto the 4 themed murder meta movies, the 2 Dr. Phibes features, Theater of Blood and Madhouse, that left one more plausible space which could conceivably be filled out by like a wild card, like say The Raven, because I always get a kick out of that one, even if it doesn't really fit into that whole cycle.
Shall I ever hold again that radiant maiden whom the angels call Lenore?
How the hell should I know?
And since we were also doing the back and forth with This Movie Exists for cross-promo, that maybe that one could also be on there, and the also-rans could be here, sure, that's one way to do it, and I think The Raven is interesting enough that it can easily come up again at some other non-Halloween point. I mean, so are a lot of these, honestly. The main reason I didn't pull the trigger there, though, is that when I saw James Rolfe and Cinemassacre were also doing a theme year for their Halloween series on Roger Corman, who tragically passed away this year and thus knew they'd be covering Edgar Allan Poe movies, which Corman had made with Vincent Price, I knew James was almost certainly going to cover The Raven just as well, if not better, than we would in the same time frame, and I was right. You should definitely check his Roger Corman, Edgar Allan Poe episode out. It's really great, fun, and informative, and like I said, it doesn't mean I'll never talk about that one. I just figured, you know, YouTube channels, a lot of people cover a lot of the same movies as it is, and I like to stay different. Speaking of different, since we also started on a theme, might as well close out on one as well, so think of this as also-rans with focus. Yes, as one last Halloween treat, I'm going to run you some silly spooky trailers and clips like usual, but instead of our standard randomness, these are more films featuring the one and only Vincent Price that we just didn't get to as full episodes, but in some cases still wanted to have some fun with, so there's still going to be some light commentary sprinkled into this. So hey, don't click away. As ever, I hope you enjoy it and that you also enjoy the rest of the series. Please have a safe and happy rest of the spooky season. And roll 'em!
True terror is the soft, cold caress of the raven's wing.
Ooh. Your hands are so cold.
A woman whose desires transcend reality. The mysterious powers of black magic. These you will explore.
Now, what is it you need?
You got some dried blood off a bat in the house?
The Raven will take you careening through the darkest of dangers, into the ominous mystery of a master magician's evil castle.
Afraid, my dear? I offer you a choice. The secret of your hand manipulations, or this against this.
Well, don't just stand there. Do something.
This is no answer.
Very well, then. Adieu to the death.
So the thing about The Raven, if you've never seen it, since the poem The Raven doesn't really have a movie-length plot or a plot period, they kind of had to make up a whole movie about dueling medieval wizards, which is already pretty wild, and it's also a comedy that leans heavy on Price and Peter Lorre being a legit great double act with this sort of material, something they've learned previously on Tales of Terror and worked out again in Comedy of Terrors, which actually came out the same year as this. So here's that.
There must be a little more honest way to conduct a funeral business.
I might expect that kind of talk from a criminal. You're probably the most inept housebreaker in all of New England.
That's true.
Did you try the knob?
No. What?
You don't think he's quite dead enough yet to go...
The devil damn thee black!
Starring Vincent Price, who, inspired by a seductive woman, is overpowered with lust to kill. Peter Lorre, too sensitive for both the life he lives and the lives he takes.
Butterfingers.
Boris Karloff, the ancient one, with a fount of sweet memories.
Alexander the Great embalmed in honey, so they say.
Abundantly blessed, Joyce Jameson, an unhappy, unkissed bride.
Aren't you coming to bed, husband?
Rhubarb, the cat in the house of unholy horror. Amazing Joey Brown, shockingly amazed. And inimitable Basil Rathbone.
Haven't you, sir?
Whose wrath will slash you to the bone. A mad killer, like the angel of death, stalks his next victim.
You're here because you're dead, Mr. Black.
The hell I am.
Of course, Price didn't only appear in horror films. The man certainly had a diverse career, and some of the featured parts are in some really bonkers movies that are kind of forgotten. Here are a couple of those.
What is your pleasure? Dancing girls, perhaps? Why, certainly. Or do you prefer the dash and sweep of desert raiders? It's all yours in Baghdad.
Baghdad, the Arabs' abode of peace, where for 7 centuries there has been no peace.
Baghdad, ageless city of intrigue and treachery. Against this exotic background, the screen brings you a story of love on hot desert sands. The story of the Princess Marjan, woman of 100 moods, tempting and beguiling, charming and desirable, imperious and vengeful, pitting her beauty and courage against the desert's savage warriors.
Let the Aramlak into the citadel, and let us take him.
The citadel is already infested with Bedouins. I'm sick of them.
This is a Bedouin affair. Prince Ahmed Kabar belongs to us.
I'm not leaving. You are going to ride to my people. It's dangerous for you here.
If I leave, how will you keep the soldiers entertained?
Why are you here?
To find out who really leads the Black Robes. And now I know.
That is most unfortunate.
Years before man believed he could fly, Jules Verne wrote about a ship like this.
And this is our control center. The very heart of the albatross. We have now reached a speed of 203 miles an hour. Quite literally a ship of the sky.
Vincent Price, perfectly cast as the idealist who pictures himself master of the world. His unwilling guests are Charles Bronson, Henry Hull, Mary Webster, David Frankham. 4 people terrorized into desperate action. Sentenced to terrifying punishment.
I am a man unto myself, Mr. Prudent, who has declared war against war. That is the purpose for which this ship was built. You below, this is Robber speaking. Do exactly as I say. You have no choice.
I don't see that we can merely sit by and watch Rover decimate the entire world.
And what else can we do, Mr. Struck?
Destroy the albatross.
And ourselves with it?
Moment by moment, you cross over new horizons with Master of the World.
London ahead, sir.
Are the leaflets ready for dropping?
Alright, yeah, so Baghdad is pretty much in here because I wanted at least one thing that was deliberately different from all these others as you can get without it getting deliberately meta about it, and also was less likely to get copyright claimed, which is why 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo and its movie sequel aren't in here. And Master of the World, well, it's an odd duck, and also apocryphally, that was a movie that Gene Roddenberry, creator of Star Trek, apparently watched in 1961, and then immediately tried to get the rights to do a TV series adaptation of, but in his version, the guys who flew around in a high-tech ship doing peacekeeping through extremely military-esque means were unambiguous good guys, but it didn't happen with that specific IP, but he did keep trying. Not sure if that's where the real timeline of events actually lines up, but it is a story people tell, so now you've heard that version too.
Logical.
Anyway, here's a couple more.
Listen. Do you hear? It's coming back, turning the screen into a buzzing, crawling, creeping nightmare of terror. This is the son of the original Fly, daring to explore the forbidden science of transmigration that brought horrible death to his father.
You look as if you've just seen a ghost, old man.
It was the Fly.
Fear that will fasten its choking grip on you, as his weird experiments spawn the twisted monstrosities of a living hell. The Rat Man, whose hands and feet are changed to paws. The living corpse who rose from his coffin. And the return of the Fly, seeking revenge with 1,000 eyes. Smashing anything that stands in his way.
Suppose he does come here. What if Philippe does not have the mind of a human, but the murderous brain of the Fly?
Then he will have to be destroyed.
Come in. Come closer. Closer. That's right. I'm Vincent Price. You'll be just as safe in this house of fear as any of the other 5 victims murdered by the Bat. In all of the annals of mystery, there's never been a more elusive, fearsome, and cunning killer. He'll lure you through hidden passages to make you his next victim. But nobody lives forever, so why be afraid of the Bat?
long's he been dead?
Oh, I'd say about a half an hour. Do you believe it was the bat?
That's a bat's trademark.
Perhaps he's still in the house.
That's possible.
It says here that the bat never leaves no fingerprints.
That's understandable. Having no face, he probably has no fingers either.
The bat is waiting for you.
I am the bat. Sell it somewhere else, Hank.
An exact reproduction and programmed for love and destruction. Poof. A wonderful explosion that destroys not only my love bombs, but their victims as well. There's only one single thing left between me and control of the world.
All the generals have exploded in a plastic fallout. Goldfoot is making plastic bombs disguised as girls. We've got to go to his villa and unmask him.
Ouch! I absolutely must have that girl, Rosanna. I want to duplicate her.
Look, guys, if you're surprised I ended on one of the Dr. Goldfoot movies, you haven't been paying attention. In any case, that's been Schlocktober for this year. Everybody please have yourselves a safe and happy Halloween.